Hello students, let's start with our encryption chapter, encryption syllabus. So in the last videos we have seen what are the different attacks, how the classification of encryption techniques has been done, the way ciphers are encrypted, the process in which they are encrypted. So we will be starting with the very simple cipher technique, very easy, which is called as a substitution cipher. So in this particular substitution cipher also we have uh, more than one way to encrypt the data, but it is considered as very easy to process. Symmetric encryption. Symmetric encryption is also called as conventional encryption, private key encryption, or a single key encryption. Now when I say private key encryption, that means the key is private. I am telling you again and again, in the encryption area or in the cryptology area, it is believed that you should make the algorithm of encryption public. Everybody should know how the data is encrypted, but key should have highest security, or key should be kept secret. So when I say key should be kept secret, that means key is private, but my encryption algorithm can be a public. And a single key means the sender and the receiver both will be using the same key. Sender and recipient share a common key. All classical encryption algorithms are private key. We will see what are the all classical encryption algorithm. And it was very famous, or it was the only way to do the encryption until unless a public key was developed in 1970, and by far it is most widely used. So let's see how if I have to draw the block diagram, how I will be representing the symmetric key cipher. So as I told you, in the cryptography, Alice and Bob will be always our best friends. We will be always taking their names because all the reference book starts with these names for the example. So Alice is sending a plain text to a Bob. So I told you this encryption algorithm is public. So this encryption decryption are known for each other, and they have somehow managed to share the secret key. So what was the Alice will do? At Alice computer, the plain text will be taken. The encryption algorithm will be implemented or carried out with the key of Alice, which is the same as key of Bob, and the cipher text will be generated. So the cipher text will be passing through an insecure channel, or a channel whose security is not in our hand. Whereas the secret key, when it is passed, we are saying it is passed through a secure key exchange channel, because we are the one who will be deciding how the key should be passed. So probably face to face, probably through a call, some of the other secure way which will be used. So when the cipher text is received at Bob, it will be going through a decryption algorithm with the same shared key, and the plain text will be taken out and the Bob will be reading it. Now, in that more technical language, or in terms of equation, I can write it as encrypted word is nothing but encryption algorithm which is implemented with the help of key. And where are you going to implement? On the plain text. So try to understand the way in which it is written. E is for encryption, you write D for decryption. Okay, so you mention it in that. So or encryption is a function which is applied on a P. So encryption is a function which is applied on a P with the help of key, which is nothing but K. Decryption, I have to get back the plain text. So I'll say decryption is a function which is applied on a coded data, applied on a coded text with the help of key K. So I have this encryption and decryption formulas with me. In general, if this will work, if and only if decryption is performed on the encrypted text, see what I'm saying. Decryption is performed on the encrypted text. So when I do decryption of encryption data, what should I get? Plain text. Okay, X. It's similar to encryption on decrypted text with the same key should give back me the original text. Okay, so we will be more clear when we do the examples. We assume that a Bob has created a plain text P1. Now we have to prove P1 is the same data which the Alice has created, P. So Alice says that C is my data with encrypted key of K, encryption algorithm K. It is applied on plain text, which is Alice data. Okay. Bob, whatever he creates, we will name it as P1. Okay. So Bob has decrypted this data and find out P1. But what is your decryption? How this decryption function has worked, or what is your C if you want to substitute, because Bob is getting C only. Okay, Bob doesn't have idea what is P here, but what is your C? How you have calculated C? So you have calculated C by doing encryption on the plain text. If I say that symmetric key, or I have to go for this particular cipher technique, so what are the requirements for a secure use of symmetric encryption? You require a strong encryption algorithm. See, even if I say that the encryption algorithm are public, you have to have some complexity in that. You have to have some characteristic which is known only to a person who has a technical knowledge. Okay, so we always say a strong encryption algorithm and a secret key, which will be the heart of this encryption technique, a secret key which is known only to sender and receiver. Mathematically, y, which is represented as coded text, is equal to encryption with the k x. I will get by my x if I perform the decryption on the same text. Assuming encryption algorithm is known, it says that you have distributed key your key very securely. Now the first cipher or the first technique in the symmetric key is a substitution technique. What is a substitution technique? The name gives you an idea. It is a one in which the letters of the plain text are replaced by other letters, by numbers or symbol. See, mostly we will be in our course or in our example, we will try to work only with letter. But if somebody asks you a definition, somebody asks you a general idea, then substitution technique is letters of the plain text can be replaced by any other letter or any number or any symbol. So I just have to do a replacement of the letters. If the plain text is viewed as a sequence of bits, then substitution involves replacing each plain text bit patterns with the ciphertext bit pattern. So you are talking about if I develop I say a bit 0, 1 and 0 is there. So plain text is nothing but a sequence of bit. So somewhere I have already made that whenever you have 0, 1, 0, it should be replaced by 1, 0, 1. So what I'm ideally doing? 0 is replaced by 1, 1 is replaced by 0, and again 0 is replaced by 1. So it is nothing but only a replacement, or it is only a substitution of the letter. The first cipher in the substitution technique is your Caesar cipher. Now what is the Caesar cipher here? Simplest one and the earliest one used by Julius Caesar. It says that, or it involves replacing each letter of the alphabet with the letter standing 3 places further down the alphabet. Now what does it mean? See, in the encryption I always tell you, I always mention it in the class, whenever we will start with the problem, make a habit of writing A to Z, all your alphabets in the margin, because whenever you do the example you are going to need it. And the second thing which you can do is mark these alphabets with number. So I will write this as a margin, in the margin 0, 1, 2, 3 till Z, which will be nothing but it will be an alphabet with the number 25. Okay, so now Caesar says replace each letter of the alphabet with the 3 symbols down, or the 3 letters further down. So alphabet Z. So what will happen if the alphabet Z comes? It will be wrapped around following the letter in your alphabet string. So Z, if I have to start doing, so if I talk about, suppose if I talk about a single letter replacement, so I'll say whenever Z is there, you replace it with A. So it should be wraparound sequence. Now in the all the reference book, or in this particular slide, the example has been given as plain text. So remember one more how do I frame it? whenever we are writing a plain text, it will be always in the smaller case, okay, lower case letters. And whenever we write a cipher, it will be always in the capital. So you have to make sure that whenever you are writing answers, you are writing in capital letters if you are doing it for a cipher. And in the example, if the ciphers are given to you, you are converting into plain text, it should be represented with a lower case letter. So now here M is replaced by P. So if I look at that alphabet, so M, N, O, P. So I am replacing M with the third letter. After E, F, G. So it is E is replaced by, so third letter should come here. So after E, H will come. T, W will come. So once you find out what is there for M, you can just go on replacing for M. So M is replaced by P. So everywhere M should be replaced by P. Now see here, A is replaced by D. So I will see A, I have to write it the third letter down. So first, so I write first, second, third. Okay. So you are replacing A with P. And this way your cipher will be generated, or this is your technique. Caesar cipher can define transformation as, so what do I do? See this alphabet string, you have written from A to Z, and you have written three alphabets down. So A will be replaced by D, B will be replaced by E, C will be replaced by F, D will be replaced by G. Now come to this level, C, Z, or what do you do at X? Because all your alphabets are getting over by Z. So what do I do? Whenever I have X, I wrap around the sequence. So after Z, I know it will start with A, B, C. So Z will be replaced by A, B and C. That way you will be doing. So X is replaced by Y because that will be the first letter, second letter, and again the string will continue. So A. So X is replaced by A. If I have to represent it mathematically, I will always give the number from 0 to 25. Remember, in the cryptography, the numbering starts from 0 because we work with modular arithmetic. And the algorithm can be expressed, that is in terms of equation. If I have to write encryption algorithm, I will write key here, comma P. Okay, so remember, always key comes first and then the plain text. So key is 3. In another way, I have to implement P plus 3, that is add the plain text with 3 and you take a mod of 26. What is a mod here? No number can be greater than 26. Okay, we will see more detailing of mod again. So if I have to do, suppose A comes. So A's if it is represented with a number, it will be 0 plus 3 mod 26. So 3 mod 26 is 3. So I'll go at 3. What is letter at 3? D. So A will be replaced by D. A shift may be of any amount, so that the general Caesar algorithm, for example, when Caesar has done this, he has done with the number 3. But if I have to represent with n, in general the algorithm, I will represent with a number as k, and then I can write P plus k mod 26 can be a substitution cipher or a Caesar. More specifically, we call it as a substitution cipher. Okay, when I write it in general with a k. Oh, sorry, decryption we have forgot to put. Decryption will be also okay. So what will be the decryption? Reverse procedure. When you have done the encryption, you have added. So when you are doing the decryption, you will be doing the subtraction. So I say C minus K mod 26. What is C here? You had got 3. 3 minus 3. K is 3. 3 minus 3 is 0. 0 mod 26 is 0. So what is letter at 0? The letter at 0 is A. This is the way the decryption of the Caesar cipher will happen. Now, crypto analysis. Suppose I want to break this algorithm. What is the meaning of I want to break this algorithm? I want to find out what is the plain text. I know the procedure, it is substitution. So what do I have? I will say A can be mapped to A can map to B, A can map to C, A can map to D. So there are n number of ways in which A can be mapped, because I know it is only a substitution technique. So I know I can write whenever it is A, it can be A, it can be B, it can be C, it can be D. So A is your encrypted text and these are your plain text. So I will have, for every character, I will have 26 possibilities. Okay. So you imagine when I have 26 characters, I can write I have 26 factorial characters. Okay, could simply try each in turn. This is called as a brute force search, that you don't have idea at all about key, but you know what is a encryption algorithm. So given a cipher test, just try all the shift of letter. What do we need to recognize when we have a plain text? When you do this some or the other way, when initially only a few letters, if you do, if that plain text has certain meaning in English language, you know you are doing it correct. If initial few letters are not making any sense, you don't go ahead with that key. So you need to stop when you have a plain text. So from the previous example, this was the ciphertext which was generated. Now see how does the brute force attacks looks like. So we have written a ciphertext here. So key is 1. So we try all the possible combinations. So P is replaced by O, it is N, M, L, K. So here all the possible things have been listed. Okay, you have to remember when you are doing a decryption, you are doing a subtraction, you are not going to add. Okay, so what are you doing? You are coming in a reverse order. You try to substitute P with O, you try to substitute P with N, you try to substitute P with M. So now if you see here at key number 3, you have certain meaningful sentence which says meet me after the toga party. So the moment you find M, this first word, you know you are going in a right direction. Or here P is at multiple times, so substitute P and check whether you are going to get certain meaningful things. Okay, so I hope this brute force attack is clear. And why do we say crypto analysis? Because we know what is a substitution cipher. So just let play certain video.
The first well-known cipher, a substitution cipher, was used by Julius Caesar around 58 BC. It is now referred to as the Caesar cipher. Caesar shifted each letter in his military commands in order to make them appear meaningless should the enemy intercept it. Imagine Alice and Bob decided to communicate using the Caesar cipher. First, they would need to agree in advance on a shift to use, say 3. So to encrypt her message, Alice would need to apply a shift of 3 to each letter in her original message. So A becomes D, B becomes E, C becomes F, and so on. This unreadable or encrypted message is then sent to Bob openly. Then Bob simply subtracts the shift of 3 from each letter in order to read the original message. Incredibly, this basic cipher was used by military leaders for hundreds of years after Caesar.
I have fought and won, but I haven't conquered over man's spirit, which is indomitable.
However, a lock is only as strong as its weakest point. A lock breaker may look for mechanical flaws, or failing that, extract information in order to narrow down the correct combination. The process of lock breaking and code breaking are very similar. The weakness of the Caesar cipher was published 800 years later by an Arab mathematician named Al-Kindi. He broke the Caesar cipher by using a clue based on an important property of the language a message is written in. If you scan text from any book and count the frequency of each letter, you will find a fairly consistent pattern. For example, these are the letter frequencies of English. This can be thought of as a fingerprint of English. We leave this fingerprint when we communicate without realizing it. This clue is one of the most valuable tools for a code breaker. To break this cipher, they count up the frequencies of each letter in the encrypted text and check how far the fingerprint has shifted. For example, if H is the most popular letter in the encrypted message instead of E, then the shift was likely 3. So they reversed the shift in order to reveal the original message. This is called frequency analysis, and it was a blow to the security of the Caesar cipher.
So I hope Caesar cipher is very clear to you, because it's very easy. So I want everybody try this exercise. This will be your homework. You can write it in your class notebook. Encrypt your name with a Caesar cipher. Okay. So we will stop here for the day, and we will do more cipher techniques in the next lecture.